Howdy y'all, I finally finished my fighter tank build for TIC, mod 18, and yes I have tanked it now. I guess I could go like so. There's that silly title, Infernal. um, got my stats, yay! I know we don't really need the awareness, but I will show you in one of my fighter powers why I have 85k awareness, 85k deflect, and 85k crit avoidance. I hit all the stat caps except for combat advantage. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do, let me tell you. I really like the Bone Harvester hood for tanking. I mean, there's nothing like getting some extra hit points, right? I was using something else, but I liked the clingy leather vest. It actually really, or coat, it really does actually proc a lot, especially when I'm using my anvil. Shielded Defender, Lionheart weapons. Yes, I know it's not something everybody can get, but another good set is the Burnished, and that's readily available for everybody, right? Pretty easy to get that one. I'm using the Dueling Boots, reflect a little damage here and there. Reflective set, Tanner's Leather Ring. I needed to hit some offensive caps, and I like the Mana Core main bite. Defending Ring of the Keeper, Infernals. For all trash, I use 3 of the journals, and when I get to bosses, well, not the first boss, but the second and third boss, I swap out to my Sigil of the Paladin, just to help out the healers. That's all, just to really help out the healers. Damage resistance, gives me a little heal. It's nice. It's nice. Alright, mounts. I am using the carpet, so Vortex. Okay, pull everything together. I am using Stalwart, 50k hit points. And I am using a plethora of random legendary insignias to hit my stat caps. It's my 5th character stat capping for Tome, or for TIC, and it took a lot of work to get there. I'm running 3 gladiators, an artificers, and a cavalry. My companions are Deep Crow, whatever red dragon Ion Stone, I believe, the goat, Mighty Insight, a little power and deflect, and 32k hit points. I have 1 double defense piece, and that's to help me get some of those stat caps I was talking about. And then, of course, double offense. Bonding's rank 15. I seem to always run the hatchling on my tanks, paladin, fighter, whatever. It's that deflect. That deflect has been the one, for some reason, it's been the hardest for me to get. Hit point boon, revive sickness, power. As far as the campaigns go, must have is hit points straight up. Demonic, run speed, companion influence, incoming healing, and this is where I differ. Some people use stamina regen. I'm using the cooldown reduction just to help a little bit, and of course, focus retaliation. My powers, on bosses, I'm using Anvil of Challenge and silly thing. Anvil of Challenge and Combat Superiority. This is simply to give me the most possible threat, right? I could have some other things in there for DPS and whatnot, but I like having a lot of taunts. It's not my job to DPS stuff down. It's my job to make it look at me so you guys can DPS it down. I have Second Wind and Bladed Rampart slotted. 99.9% of the time I'm using Bladed Rampart. Shield Thrower, hey, a 6-second taunt, right? Can't beat that. Rising Tide, because I do use Tide of Iron, and then I use Cleave, so I'm always using those together. Let's see here, Combat Balance. This is why I have my stats all at 85k, because as long as that's there, anytime I'm not blocking, which is anytime I attack, so I can keep threat, I'm taking 10% less damage. It's great. Sharpened Senses, negate the effect of combat damage against you, and Shake It Off. I like this just because of the extra damage from Retaliate. Most of the time, I don't dig in for that long to get my full stacks on Deep Breathing, so I switched to this one recently. This is, of course, what I do with bosses. The only difference I make for the trash mobs is I swap to greater endurance because I very rarely need to block. Still combat superiority, still shield throw, still enforced threat, but I switch to line breaker. AoE threat. It's just a good thing, especially those big trash pools inside of TIC. Yeah, so if you have any questions or you want to know where something came from, Seals of the Fallen is where I got the shirts. The previous campaign, right now I'm drawing a blank for some reason. I don't know why. Undermountain, thank you, is where I got the neck and the waist and the artifact. The rings came out of Tome. If you can't run Tome, these rings are relatively cheap in the auction house right now. My helmet, my chest, my gloves, my boots, all dropped out of the new area. Super easy to get that stuff. I know that these storyteller journals are just not available anymore, and it's okay. That you can use any mix of artifacts you really need to get there. I would strongly suggest if you're a tank to try to get your hands on the Sigil of the Paladin, and if you can't get that one, the Sigil of the Fighter is great too, as far as being able to mitigate some damage. I mean, 90% of an incoming attack's damage once a second for 10 seconds, that's pretty cool. But yeah, there you go. Quick, easy Vanguard tank build. Stats capped where they need to be. Thank you very much, and I hope this helps.